Tombstones. If you could pick just one concise phrase to summarize exactly who you are, what would it be? Here's the catch. People are actually writing that phrase for you right now, every single day. And they're the ones who are going to record it at the end of your time here on Earth. Have you ever thought clearly how others see you, what they think you're blind to? Think about your friends. You can probably easily spot their quirks, their strengths, their flaws, things they have absolutely no clue they do. Well, people do the exact same thing for us. When the Apostle Paul walked the earth, people held a wide range of opinions about him. Some loved him, others absolutely hated him. And honestly, 2,000 years later, people today still feel the same way. But here's what mattered: God fully supported him. God gave him one of the most critical roles in history, carrying the gospel to the world. Look at Scripture. There's a pattern here. Moses was terrified of public speaking, yet God chose him to lead a nation out of captivity anyway. David was an overlooked youngest son in a teeny town. God used him to build a kingdom. Peter, James, John, ordinary fishermen, yet they built the early church. Every single one of them was imperfect. But God didn't care about their flaws. He documented their faith. He recorded their actions for all of eternity. See, the world wants to tell us what matters, but God operates on a completely different timeline and set of values and purpose. He sees the big picture. He knows this life is not the destination, it's the training ground. This is where we learn that living for yourself corrupts relationships, and loving others builds something that actually lasts. In 1 Corinthians, Paul warns us that a day is coming when the fire will test the quality of everything we've built. If our work is built on solid foundation, it survives and we're rewarded. If it's built on temporary things of this world, it burns. Christians will be saved, sure, but only as someone escaping through flames. Now, please hear me on this. This does not mean that you're on a treadmill trying to earn God's favor. You can't, and you don't need to. The key thing to remember is that the effectiveness of your work, it doesn't come from your own strength. It comes from God. He isn't looking for your perfection. He's asking for your availability. When you step out in faith, He's the one who changes hearts. You don't have to carry the weight of the results. If you want proof, look at Hebrews chapter 11. It's a short sample list of entirely ordinary, deeply flawed people who made history. They didn't do it because they were superheroes. They did it simply because they acted out of faith. And they let God do the heavy lifting. Most of us are never going to have our names written in history books. We won't be in a modern day Bible. But we all face the same exact daily choice. And it comes down to which of these two questions is going to drive your life. The first question is, what role does God play in my life? The other question is, what role does my life play in what God is doing? However you answer that is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. So let's look at those two questions again. What role does God play in my life? Or what role does my life play in what God is doing? We all know John 3:16. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only son." But have you ever read God's follow-up to that verse in 1 John 3:16? It says, "We know love by this, that he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the others." So, let me ask you as we close here today, What do you want people to say about you when you're gone? It's valuable information understanding that. But the heavier, more important question is, what do you want God to say about you? Are your daily actions reflecting that? Because here's the truth. The people around you already know the answer. Thanks for listening.